All right, so get this. This video game, Black Myth Wukong, it just like blew
Right.
past 20 million copies sold.
Wow.
Yeah, pulling in nearly $1 billion.
Seriously.
Yeah, and critics didn't really call it a must play. And it's kind of what makes this whole thing more interesting, you know? We're diving into this game today and using this article by Matthew Ball. It's called The Success of Black Myth, Wukong, and What It Means for Media.
Okay.
It was published on September 12th on matthewball.co.
Got it.
So we can kind of understand what's happening with global media right now.
Yeah.
Buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride.
So what's fascinating about Wukong is it's not just like a popular game.
Right.
Like we have to figure out, like, why is this thing shaking up the entire entertainment industry?
Yeah, it feels like a much bigger story than just like, oh, cool, video game.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So Wukong is like deeply rooted in Chinese culture and mythology.
Okay.
And it's no coincidence that almost 75% of its sales came from China, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a level of regional success that Western games can only dream of.
So like even your big, like Western titles like Spider-Man or whatever your Zelda's, they don't
Yeah.
they don't come close to those numbers in China.
Not even close.
Really?
They're typically in the single digits in terms of market share,
Wow.
So Wukong's success is kind of a sign that like audiences are looking for something different, something that resonates with their own cultural background.
That makes you wonder if these big Western titles are missing a trick by not tapping into those specific cultural interests. Like
Yeah.
maybe there's a whole new audience out there waiting for stories that speak directly to them, right?
Absolutely. And this phenomenon isn't limited to gaming either, Like Hollywood's dominance in the Chinese film market is waning.
Interesting.
Like think about this. Between 2021 and 2023, only like a tiny handful of Hollywood films managed to break into the top 10 in China.
Really? So it's not just a gamer thing, it's like a full-blown cultural shift, huh? Like what are some of the key differences you see between these successful local productions and like typical Hollywood fare?
Well, let's look at Wolf Warrior 2.
Okay.
So this is a Chinese action film that completely flips the script on your typical Hollywood tropes. So instead of an American hero, you have a Chinese super soldier rescuing Africa from, well, American imperialism,
Whoa.
right?
Okay.
And they even cast Frank Grillo, right? An American actor who's like known for playing villains in Hollywood action films to really drive the point home.
Wow. That's a statement. It's like they're deliberately challenging Hollywood's narrative,
Right.
not just trying to imitate it, huh? Are there any other examples of this trend in Chinese cinema?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So The Battle at Lake Changjin.
Okay.
This is a Chinese war epic based on the Korean War.
Okay.
This is a film that is directly competing with the kind of war films Spielberg and Eastwood make,
Huh.
offering a Chinese perspective on this global conflict.
So instead of just like importing the Hollywood war epic,
Right.
they're making their own.
Exactly.
They're telling their own stories from their own perspective.
Right.
That's fascinating. It's like reclaiming the narrative.
It is. And then you have Nuza,
Okay.
which is a family film inspired by Chinese folklore, which is like kind of a homegrown alternative to Disney's animated features,
Right.
right? And it's this beautiful film that celebrates Chinese culture and storytelling, and it was a massive box office hit.
It sounds like they're really tapping into something powerful here, like a deep desire for stories that reflect their own identity and experience. Makes you wonder if Hollywood is starting to feel the heat.
They certainly should be.
Yeah.
This trend isn't just a blip on the radar. It's like a fundamental shift in the way people consume media.
Right.
And it's not limited to China either.
Wait, so this is happening in other parts of the world too?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
This is a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
So take India, for example. Only 4 out of the 50 highest grossing films released there come from outside Bollywood.
Wow. So Bollywood is basically like the Indian equivalent of Hollywood,
Exactly.
but even more dominant in its own market.
Precisely. And it's not just about market share, it's about cultural influence.
Yeah.
Bollywood films shape the way that Indians see themselves, their history, their values.
Right. Okay, so China and India, those are huge markets.
Yeah.
What about smaller countries? Are
Yeah.
they experiencing this shift too?
Yeah, even in Nigeria,
Okay.
a Nollywood gangster comedy called Oma Ghetto 2 outsold Avengers Endgame.
Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
The biggest superhero movie of all time.
Mhm.
Whoa. Okay, that really puts things in perspective.
It does, doesn't it?
That
It
does.
shows that this trend is much bigger than any one country or market. You know, it's a fundamental shift in the way people around the world are consuming media.
So we're not just talking about like a few isolated successes.
Right.
We're talking about a global wave of regionally focused media taking center stage.
Exactly.
But what's driving this shift? What's making these productions so successful?
That's a great question. There's a few factors at play here, you know.
Yeah.
One is like the increasing accessibility of like high quality production tools.
Okay.
So game engines like Unity and Unreal, the same engines that powered Wukong,
Right.
are becoming like more user-friendly and affordable.
Mm.
And it gives creators all over the world the power to produce like visually stunning and engaging experiences.
So it's like technology is democratizing filmmaking and game development
Exactly.
and allowing creators outside of like Hollywood and the traditional gaming industry to produce like world-class content.
Exactly. And there's another key factor at play here, and that is asset libraries.
Okay.
So these libraries provide creators with like ready-made 3D models, textures, music, all these other resources, which drastically reduces the time and cost of development.
It's like having a massive toolbox
Yes.
filled with like all the components you need to build your creative vision,
Yeah.
no matter where you are in the world. That's incredible.
It is, and it's incredibly empowering for creators, especially smaller studios and independent developers who might not have the resources to build everything from scratch.
So technology is leveling the playing field, allowing creators from all over the world to compete with the big studios on a more even footing. Are there any other factors that are contributing to this shift?
Absolutely. The rise of generative AI
Oh,
is also playing a significant role.
yeah.
So this technology can be used to generate game assets, write dialogue, you know, even compose music,
Whoa.
right? So it's further empowering these creators and accelerating the development process.
Wow. So it's not just about like tools and resources, it's about new ways of creating content altogether.
Right.
Sounds like AI is going to be a major game changer in the entertainment industry.
It already is.
Yeah.
And it's going to become even more influential in the years to come.
This is all pretty mind-blowing. We've gone from a successful video game to a global media revolution in a matter of minutes.
Right.
Where do we even go from here?
Well, that's what we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Right.
We need to understand like the implications of this trend for consumers, creators, and the future of entertainment as we know it.
I'm already hooked. Let's dive in.
So we've seen all this regionally focused media just explode in popularity.
Yeah.
So what we need to consider now is like, what does this mean for you, the person actually watching and playing?
Yeah, it's one thing to talk about market trends and box office numbers, but how does this actually affect like the average consumer's experience? Does this mean we're all going to be bombarded with content that feels foreign or inaccessible?
Not at all.
Okay.
Like, think of this as an opportunity to broaden your horizons.
Okay.
You know, like you can experience stories and perspectives that might never have crossed your radar otherwise.
Right.
Imagine it as having a passport to different cultures, all from the comfort of your couch.
So instead of just watching the same old Hollywood tropes,
Right.
we can immerse ourselves in Chinese folklore,
Yeah.
Bollywood musicals, Nollywood comedies. Like the possibilities are endless.
Exactly. Who knows? You might stumble upon your next favorite film or game in a genre or culture you never thought you'd be interested in.
That's exciting. I love discovering new things, but let's be realistic. Won't there be a bit of a learning curve? Like, are we going to need subtitles for everything? Will the humor translate across cultures?
Of course, there will be some adjustments, but that's part of the adventure,
Mm-hmm.
you know? It's
Yeah.
about embracing the unfamiliar and stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Remember, good storytelling, it transcends language barriers.
Right.
A well-crafted film or game can convey emotions, themes, humor,
Yeah.
things that are universally understood.
You know, you're right. A few years back, Parasite, Roma, and Pain and Glory, all huge international hits.
Yeah.
And people loved them even if they weren't familiar with the languages or cultures.
Big-
And don't even get me started on like all the amazing foreign language shows we're seeing on streaming services.
Exactly. Don't underestimate the power of visual storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, and games in particular
Yeah.
can be incredibly immersive.
Right.
They can draw you into their worlds and characters regardless of the language being spoken.
You know, you've reminded me of this Japanese role-playing game I played a while back. I barely understood any of the dialogue, but like the story, the characters, the world building, it completely captivated me. It was such a unique and rewarding experience.
And that's what this is all about. expanding our understanding of the world through the power of media. By engaging with content from different cultures, we can gain new perspectives, challenge our assumptions, and connect with people on a deeper level.
It's like empathy through entertainment.
Yeah,
Instead of just passively consuming content,
right.
we're actively learning and growing.
Exactly. That's a powerful thing. In a world that often feels increasingly divided, media can be this bridge connecting people from different backgrounds and fostering understanding.
So we've established that this trend is exciting, enriching, even potentially world-changing.
Right.
But how does this actually play out in our daily lives? Are we talking about ditching Netflix and only watching Bollywood from now on?
Of course not.
Okay.
It's about finding a balance, diversifying your media diet.
Right.
Just like you wouldn't eat the same meal every day, why limit yourself to the same types of movies and games?
Right.
Challenge yourself to explore.
Okay.
Check out the international section on your streaming services. Look for games developed in different countries. You might be surprised by what you discover.
So it's about being more intentional with our choices, making an effort to seek out content that pushes us beyond our usual boundaries.
Absolutely. And it's not just about finding hidden gems. It's also about supporting creators from around the world. By choosing to watch or play their work, we're contributing to a more vibrant and diverse media ecosystem.
It's like we're voting with our remote control or our gaming console.
Yeah.
We're making a statement about the kind of content we want to see more of in the world.
Exactly. And that could have a ripple effect.
Mhm.
As more people embrace content from different cultures, it will encourage studios and developers to invest in more diverse projects, creating this like virtuous cycle of creativity and representation.
So what we're really talking about is like a cultural shift,
Yeah.
a movement towards like a more inclusive and interconnected world where
Right.
stories from all corners of the globe have the chance to be heard and celebrated.
Precisely. And it all starts with us, the consumers, making conscious choices about the media we consume.
It's empowering to think that we have that kind of influence. Like we can actually shape the future of media by simply being more open to new experiences.
We can, and I'm incredibly excited to see where this trend takes us. I think we're on the cusp of a truly transformative era in entertainment, one that will connect us all on a deeper level.
I'm with you on that. It's time to break down those cultural barriers and embrace the incredible diversity of storytelling that exists in the world. And who knows, maybe we'll discover our next favorite film, game, or TV show in a language we don't even understand.
The possibilities are truly endless.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot today. From Black Myth, Wukong's success, the rise of like all this regionally focused media,
Yeah.
and what it all could mean for a more diverse entertainment landscape. But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to bring it back to you, the listener. What's resonating with you the most? What sparked your curiosity?
Yeah, for me, it's like that feeling of discovery, like
Yeah.
stumbling upon this hidden treasure trove of stories and
Yeah.
experiences that you might have missed otherwise. It's like a chance to challenge your own assumptions
Right.
and see the world through these different lenses.
Yeah, exactly. So, as we're wrapping up here, here's a question for you listening. Will you actively seek out content from different cultures? Will you challenge yourself to step outside your comfort zone and explore like the unknown?
I encourage you to do so. Start small.
Mm.
Pick a film or a game from a country you've always been curious about. You might be surprised by what you find.
And if you're looking for a good place to start, I highly recommend checking out Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, that's a great game.
Yeah, it's visually stunning, rich story rooted in Chinese mythology. Even if you're not a gamer, it's worth watching some gameplay footage just to appreciate the artistry and the craftsmanship.
And who knows, maybe it'll inspire you to delve deeper into Chinese culture or explore other regionally focused media from around the world. I mean, the possibilities really are endless.
So there you have it. Go forth and explore, expand your horizons, embrace the incredible diversity of storytelling that exists in our world,
Until next time, keep diving deep.
and keep those minds open.